Hi, it's Olena of popthepimple.com and welcome to today's live Pop Talk. Hi, Ceeboos and Jubek Marie. Jubek Marie, you're becoming one of the first people to join every Pop Talk. I've noticed this. Like, you are on the dot. It's like you're waiting by the phone. I appreciate it. I think it's fucking awesome. So good to see you, Jubek Marie. Food Passionical is here. Alexa Carten, Kimberly Boxing. Good to see you guys. So yeah, I just had an amazing routine review and I don't want to talk about routine reviews today. I did enough of that yesterday and like skin stuff. I hope you guys learned a lot on yesterday's Pop Talk about skin stuff. But I shared some of the products that some of my clients were using in their routines that were really, really clogging on my Insta stories, so you can check that out as well, because I like to share kind of as I like the worst products. I'd love to share them in my highlight here on Instagram called shitty products, right? So and the emoji is a little poo emoji. Jabek Marie says, hey girl, hey lol, I set a notification. Amazing, you're so smart. I love that. Yay. Emma Schultz is here. Good to see you guys. So today I was thinking we would change it up a little. We haven't talked about relationships in a while. And if you have any relationship questions, I would love to hear them because this is a subject I really, really enjoy. And it's a subject that I certainly spend a lot of time thinking about and practicing my skills within, relationships, dating, communicating, all this stuff. This is a subject I spend a lot of time researching and reading about because, I think since I was literally, 8, I wanted to have the dream partner. I wasn't sure about the whole marriage thing. I don't remember my stance on marriage because that's a stance that kept changing. Also, my stance on children also kept changing, and it really depended more on my partner. But I definitely wanted to have the perfect partner from a very early age, and it's something that I even would fantasize about all the time. Really, I was a bit boy crazy, but good, right? Because my boy craziness led me to imagine the perfect relationship. And I believe that helped me attract, into my life, the perfect relationship. And I say this without any sense of irony or, it's not like some fake shit. I'm not like trying to convince myself. This is true. I've actually manifested the perfect partner into my life. And I think it's possible for every single one of us. But it requires a few things, like knowing yourself, number one, because before I attracted my perfect person, I spent years of my life getting to know myself, defining myself, right? And that meant getting outside of my comfort zone, learning new ways of being. You know what I mean? Like literally, like I was just doing stuff that scared me and traveling the world. I was more focused on me and my personal growth and knowing who the fuck Olena was and what Olena really wanted. Because when you don't know yourself well, you can then be with people that don't necessarily suit you and relationships that aren't necessarily amazing. Some relationships are fucking subpar and people stick around because they don't know themselves well enough, and also many of us, we believe that we're not worthy of that perfect relationship. And so it's also not just more important to know yourself and know your desires and know your standards as well, right? But it's also important to know that you're worthy. And many of us don't. Many of us really believe that, that ultimate relationship is unavailable to me personally, okay? Something's wrong with me. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough somehow. I need to be more like this, more like that, more like this, more like that. My hair needs to be longer. My boobs need to be bigger. My ass needs to be smaller. My nose needs to be smaller. My eyes need to be bigger. My eyebrows need to be darker. My lips need to be bigger. My teeth need to be whiter. My pores need to be smaller. I don't know. or personality ones. I need to be funnier. I need to be more patient. I need to be more perfect. It usually comes down to more perfect, right? We all think, oh, I can't be loved until I'm not lovable until, and all this dumb shit. But I'm telling you that no, none of this is true. All of us are lovable for all the different reasons that we're lovable, but it also comes down to us knowing that we're lovable, and many of us don't. Many of us, we hide, or no, it's started raining diagonally. It's very intense out there. Many of us, there are parts of ourselves that we just find unlovable, right? And we tend to hide those parts from the people that we care about or like. And honestly, that's a recipe for disaster. Like that we need to accept ourselves totally in order to find a person out there who also accepts us totally, right? And I feel so lucky to have this relationship where I get to be totally myself. I get to make all the dumbest jokes I want. I get to even not shower sometimes, because I have those days. Like, I haven't showered yet today, I will though after my next routine review, likely. But like, I there's no shame involved with me being myself, whether it's my most amazing glamorous self, because I have those days, and whether it's my wearing my pajamas all day self. But I accept all parts of me first, and then obviously a person exists in my reality that also accepts all of those parts of me, where I don't feel like I have to be more like this or less like this, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But obviously, I've always had a willingness to improve, right? To grow. That's always been something like that's been really important personally in my life, right? To learn from my mistakes, to become a better version of myself. And so that I still have, but it's not for another person, right? So the intention behind my self-growth is just my own self-betterment. It's for me. It's not for anybody else, right? It's not because of anybody else. It's for me first and foremost. But many of us, we tend to change ourselves for other people, to be versions of ourselves that we think will please other people. And thereby we lose ourselves in the process and become less and less happy, right? Because you can never be happy if you're playing a version of you. It's just impossible, because happiness equals truth. So if you're being untrue to yourself, you are by definition not being happy. And by definition, you're attracting the wrong people into your life. Always. Because being yourself is the ultimate filter. Like, when you're yourself, you're attracting raving fans, people who adore you for exactly that, you, right? But when you're filtering yourself and you're being a version of yourself, you're filtering out your raving fans. And like, because people in your life, they could be raving about you. They could be obsessed with you because you're so fucking awesome. Unless you're not being yourself, then they might be obsessed with that version temporarily, but like, how long can you keep that shit going, right? Like, every single, like, there's, let me bring it back to this expression. There's a lid for every pot. But some of us are so afraid that there is no lid for our pot that we will just settle for that shitty lid, that like barely covers the thing. You know what I mean? Or the wrong shaped lid, or the lid that's too big, the lid that's too small, whatever lid, right? We settle for a lid that isn't the perfect lid for us. And we don't have to do that, is what I'm saying. Do you understand? Like settling is optional. But it really, what's really important here is, once again, is being yourself, feeling good first, connecting to your own desires, knowing what your desires are, not being ashamed of them, not being afraid of them, being able to be with yourself, being able to be okay with who you are. If you're a little lazy, if you're a little messy, if you're a little, I don't know, disorganized, doesn't fucking matter. Somebody's gonna love you for all of those things. Despite those things that you think make you unlovable, that person will still love you and adore you. Like, these people exist, but we often just block them from coming into our own experience because we're not being ourselves, because we're too afraid to be ourselves, right? And this is a common thing that I see everywhere. And I'm so happy that from an early age, I had this rebellious streak against being like everybody else or copying other people. You know what I mean? Like, it just, for me, it was always important just to be Olena, whatever that meant, even if I didn't know exactly what that meant, to at least try to be Olena. You know what I mean? And then with time, it just became a natural thing, you know? But I mean, I can say so much on this subject of being yourself because, I mean, what often we become is what other people tell us. You know what I mean? Like other people's fears, other people's projections, other people's expectations and obligations and all that shit. That's who we often become. So, but that's not us. That is basically us covered in fucking other nonsense. And what we have to do often as we grow up is let go of all those layers of bullshit to uncover who we really were all along, right? And that's a beautiful, beautiful process and journey, and it's worth it. It's really fucking worth it. Because each of us deserve to be in a relationship with ourselves first that is supportive, loving, and amazing, right? Easy. That's easy and sparkly, right? And that's where it all starts. But after that, we're not islands here meant to be alone, right? All of spiritual growth and all of our other growth in life, it depends on other people. It really does. You can't just sit in your fucking room alone and expect to grow and change. You don't that much. It's really when we're around other people that we need to learn how to communicate more clearly, more efficiently, lovingly, more kindly, right? How to be more empathetic. Like, we really truly grow a lot of human skills around other people. So we shouldn't be afraid to be around other people. Yeah, we'll make mistakes being around other people. It won't always be so fucking easy, but with the right people, it does feel easy. You know, even all the uncomfortable growth, it still feels natural, logical, and easy. Like my husband and I, we've done some huge growing together, but it's always felt right. It's never felt like we were forcing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was saying to my client earlier, because we had a bit of a relationship conversation, as well as skincare. And I was saying that, what was I saying? Relationships. That when my husband and I argue, that we actually become closer after the argument, not further away. Do you know what I mean? There's no resentment and there's no like negative feelings. It's more like connection because we have gotten closer and understanding each other. Does that make sense? So basically disagreements can lead to understanding, which could lead to more connection, more closeness, more intimacy, you know, and it's just a fucking better relationship overall, right? But two people have to fit really well in order to be able to create that kind of experience and to argue skillfully in a way that betters the relationship, not worsens it, right? And many people are in relationships with, as I was saying to my client, I was saying like my husband and I, we come from different cultures, right? And we even speak different languages. But when we're together, we speak the same language. We're on the same page. And when we're on different pages, we are willing to come back on the same page, right? To understand each other. This is a very fucking important part, like piece of the puzzle in having that amazing, high quality relationship that feels easy more of the time, right? Because many people lack that, and they might come from even the same culture, but they will speak a different language, right? And many people settle for those kinds of relationships where you literally see everything differently and have to argue every fucking point. And I've been in these relationships where I even spoke the same language as the person, but we technically still couldn't agree ever. And that is a very hard way to go. And what I'm saying is we don't have to choose the hard way in relationships. Because the right relationship feels easy. It feels so good, And even when it feels a little difficult, it still feels like it's the right thing to be, engaged in, right? So the point of what I'm trying to say is know yourself, know your desires, know that when you want that better thing, you're going to get it. It's available to you. By the very fact that you have the desire means it's yours to have, to actually come into your reality. It's yours already. But when you believe that it's not yours, when you believe that you're not worthy of it, of coming true, this amazing person that adores you, that would do anything for you, that prioritizes you, that communicates well, that listens to you, that makes you laugh, that kisses you just the way you want to be kissed, this person exists. Unless you believe that they don't exist, in which case you'll push that experience away from you, right? That's really what it all comes down to. It's really simple shit. Let me see. Let's block this person. There we go. Okay, weird. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just gonna block some people because they're being weird. Okay, excellent. Anything else? All right. So, yeah. Is that all I have to say about relationships? I mean, if you guys have anything to add about relationships, I'm here, but it gets to be easy. And I want to say this about everything. Everything in life gets to be easy. Like everything. It's just sometimes we block the ease, and we have to become aware of this. How are we blocking the ease that is available to us always? How are we blocking it? Because many times we are. I mean, if the thing that you want isn't in your life, ask yourself how you're blocking it from being in your life, because it will be in your life if you stop blocking it. It's that simple. It works for clear skin. It works for the perfect relationship. It works for the abundance. All the things are available to us all the time unless we block them. And some of us, we block them by simply engaging in beliefs, limiting beliefs like it's not available to me. It's available to that person, but it's not available to me. Because I am somehow, usually comes down to the idea of I am not enough. So if that is the case, if that is how you feel, please, 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 please write it on your fucking mirror if you have to. Get it tattooed on your fucking arm. But you are enough. Like, you have to remember this. This is very important. A lot of our biggest pain in life and our struggle comes from just that simple, super limiting and bullshit belief that we're somehow not enough, that we need to do something or be something else in order to be enough. And it's just not fucking true. Oh, sorry, light, too much light. Yeah, and this belief will stop you from having the job of your dreams, from having the partner of your dreams, from having the health of your dreams. Some people believe, I'm just not enough. Health is not available to me. I have to struggle hard for health. I have to struggle hard for abundance. I have to struggle hard to find, my dream person, because I'm just not lovable, or I'm not this, I'm not that. And it's like, these are all bullshit ideas that we have to stop believing, because these bullshit ideas will hold us back every single fucking time. Every single fucking time. And no one is to blame except us for not looking inside. And I'm not saying blame, but I'm just saying nobody else is responsible. Let's use better language here. Nobody's to blame, but the only person who is responsible is you. For you. Just as I am responsible for me, right? And I worked on all of these things. I let go of all of these limiting beliefs so that I could feel whole, so that I could feel enough, so that I could feel good first without relying on anybody outside of me. And that's when everything in my life started falling into place. I attracted my dream person. My business started blowing up. I mean, everything just fell into place and I didn't have to do shit. It was just like a natural, obvious progression. you know? And by do shit, I mean, obviously I took some inspired action. Like I do stuff, but like none of it felt hard. None of it felt like, oh my God, I hate this. Because life doesn't need to feel like a chore. Nothing in life, including relationships, need to feel like chores. Okay? And anyway, I just see so many beautiful people out there who are worth so much more than they think they're worth. You know what I mean? So many people who are more than enough, who don't realize how more than enough they are. And then they end up finding themselves in situations where they're just not happy, you know? And me, I just want to shake you and go, you have the power to change this. Always. You don't have to settle for stuff that doesn't serve you, you know? Ay. And I mean, I would get into specifics, but I don't want to reveal too much. Not my personal stuff. You know my personal stuff. You guys know so much already about my relationship. Because I even have a 2-part training in the More Than Skin membership. 2 or 3 or 4-part training on how I manifested my dream man, right? Which any of us can do. Dream partner, dream relationship, you know? And I see so many other people who are in relationships, say, as long as I am, and they're all breaking up left and right, you know? And I'm just like, congratulations. When you break up with somebody, congratulations, because now you're opening up the space in your life for that person that you truly wanted all along to come in, right? But like, as long as you're with the person that you're not even happy with, and you're like telling yourself that, oh, you know, we've been together for this long already, so might as well stick with this person for another 2 years, another 6 years, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not happy, and I'm trying so hard, and it feels so hard, and I'm crying all the time, but I'll stick around in this relationship. And it's like, why though? Why? Yeah. Anyway, I just have a thing against women settling because I did it. I settled quite a bit in my life, and so whenever I think back to what my life would have been had I stuck around in some of those previous relationships where I had been, it's the most terrifying thing to me, right? And I think that's what we have to fear more than change or the unknown. It's being stuck in a fucking situation that fucking sucks and being blind to the fact that we can change it, right? Like, I think that's the scariest thing of all, because when I was younger, I was stuck in relationships where I was not at all, like, it was not at the level where I wanted the relationships to be. And yet I was there and I wasn't changing anything, you know? It takes balls. It really does take balls to dream or to live your dream life. But your dream life is available to you at any point you decide that you're worthy of it. It's available. It's always been available. It always will be available, so long as you're not blocking that dream scenario. Okay? Alrighty. Oh, I see Rejoice and Repeat and Hania. Oh, and Jennifer Lynn. Good to see you guys. Yay, Tikaya is here. Mathilde. Anna Martinuk. Amber. Jose Josephine. Sorry, Anna Martin UK. Not Anna Martinuk. I always say it wrong. Good to see you guys. So, Raquelia, good to see you. So, yeah. I think that's what I have to say today about relationships. Mostly. Relationships, self-love, self-worth, and manifesting what you want. Even though this is a subject I've covered in much more depth in over all these pop talks that we've done since last June. But it is one of my favorite things because honestly, I just want all of you to be sparkly AF. Like, I want all of you to know what's available to you. Like, you're an infinite creator, right? So when you find yourself in a situation where you're like, how the fuck am I here? Change this up here. This up here. tune into those real desires that you've been fucking pushing under the rug, and then you can have what you actually want to have and what you've wanted to have all along. You know, I want everyone to feel the way I feel in my relationship, because the love I feel for this man is like, I literally want to shout it from the rooftops. You know, like I write Facebook posts about how much I love this person, right? Like I go to sleep next to him and I feel so much gratitude. Like I'm like, I am next to literally the most amazing person ever. You know, this is how I feel every day. When I wake up next to him, I'm like, he's so fucking adorable. Like, there is so much love between us. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And we too, when we know the love that we have, and we just kind of want everybody else to feel this way. Like, we don't know if it's, I mean, we know that it's possible because we have it, but like, we don't know if many people are actually experiencing this kind of love, but it's available. But like, it really comes down to, once again, finding the perfect lid for your pot, which is there. It's there. But you have to believe that it's there. Anna Martin UK says, I've missed you and I like my new name, actually. Anna Martinuk. And Anna adds, have you done any Joe Dispenza work? I haven't done any Joe Dispenza work, but Joe Dispenza, for those of you who don't know, is a chiropractor. He's an MD, I believe, but I don't know. But I think he's a chiropractor. And he wrote amazing books. I've read the something of breaking the habit of being yourself. That's a really good book by Joe Dispenza. Evolve Your Brain is a really good book. There's also You Are the Placebo, which I haven't read yet. It's on my list of books. So no, I mean, do you mean like his meditations and stuff like that? Because I haven't done Joe Dispenza meditations. It's kind of been on my to-do list, but I read so many other cool books, you know what I mean? Like right now I'm really enjoying A Course in Miracles, but I go through phases with books, where, like, I don't know, sometimes I'll be super into Conversations with God and I'll be like listening to that on repeat, you know. Sometimes I'll be super into the Law of Attraction, so I'll be like fucking reading every single Law of Attraction book, you know. And right now I'm back into A Course in Miracles, but like it varies, right? So in a week or two, I might be back to Law of Attraction or Conversations with God, but I generally kind of circulate between these three, I don't know how to say it even, sources of information, you know, spiritual information, spiritual guidance, because they're my favorite. They really drive the points home so well, you know, these. So once again, it's Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh, which consists of a bunch of books. The first three are the original. It's called The Uncommon Dialogue. So it's basically a dialogue between the author and God. And it's so fucking good. I can't even tell you. It really sparked my kind of spiritual development in a really big way. And then the Law of Attraction books by Esther and Jerry Hicks. So like The Vortex, The Incredible Power of Deliberate Intent, the Something Else Power of Your Emotions, basically all the Art of Allowing. All these books by Esther and Jerry Hicks are also my favorite. I love because they do it really simply. They explain the Law of Attraction really simply, and they make it really, really practical. And you understanding your emotions and what they all mean and blah, blah, blah. Super good. And then A Course in Miracles is the densest material. It really flips everything on its head, but it's still along the lines of the first two sources. It's just far deeper. Far deeper. I was like blown away. Like every page I read, there's these aha moments and like, how the fuck did you write it so logically? Because it really builds and builds and builds, but in the most logical way I've ever seen. It's like written by a philosopher or something. But it's supposed to be kind of, I think, the voice of, I don't know, the Holy Spirit or like Jesus. I don't even know, but it's so good. And once again, for some context, I used to resist anything that had the word God in it. You know, I was cooler with the universe, universal consciousness, you know, like I was cooler with those kinds of words. And now I'm just like, I don't care. We're just all using different words to describe the same exact thing, and I'm cool with the word God. I'm even cool with Jesus and the Holy Spirit and all this stuff because, I mean, A Course in Miracles, it explains things in a totally non-religious way. Like, and I don't want you guys to get turned off by this language, right? Because I'm not religious at all. Like, I haven't gone to church in a long ass time. I don't believe in organized religion personally because of how divisive and separatist it is. It actually does the opposite of what love is, ultimately. And it's not the intention of all these spiritual texts. It's just the way they were misinterpreted and used and turned into an institution, right? A business of sorts, really. And that's what I'm totally fucking against. None of us need to answer to anybody in our spiritual journeys and our growth. You know what I mean? Like, just whatever resonates with you, that's what works. All right, let's see. Anna Martin UK says, "Yep, I thought you'd be familiar with him. Would love all your book recommendations. I ordered Conversations with God because of you." Yay! Yay, yay, yay. Yeah, a lot of you here on the Pop Talks have already gone through Conversations with God or are starting to, so that's really, really awesome. Let me know how you like it. Because for me, it has a really, it's like a forever spot in my heart, that series of books, because like I said, it really changed my life. That's when, literally less than half a year after I started reading Conversations with God, I manifested my dream partner. I was becoming more self-sufficient in the brain, more independent, and more happy for no reason, right? All these books, but Conversations with God is what started it all. I only started reading the Law of Attraction books recently, and A Course in Miracles kind of intermittently throughout because it's very dense, again. But I think it started after Conversations with God. So Conversations with God was really the foundation for me. And like I said, within 6 months, no, not true. Or true. No. I think it was over a year after Conversations with God, actually, that I manifested my dream man. Because a lot of work happened in that year, actually. Was it a year? I don't know, guys. Because the last few years were so action-packed that I literally have no idea what happened in which year. So much action. Zamira says, tips for acne rosacea. Not right now, because this isn't a skincare live today. Sorry, next time. Jennifer 12 Lynn, plus there's a lot to say on acne rosacea. Be very, very gentle. Jennifer Lynn says, Course in Miracles, ask that you do one lesson a day. I feel like I want to jump ahead, but I know I'm not supposed to. I would read, that's not the Course in Miracles, that's the workbook, right? Like the actual course is a book that explains all these concepts in a way that is mind-blowing. But the workbook, you do one lesson a day. And I would follow the instructions because the lessons are so big that I think you kind of need to give them time to marinate, in your head a little bit, the way that the course suggests, instead of running ahead. But I too feel the same way. I'm like, they're so good, these lessons. I just want to read all of them, So I totally understand where you're coming from, Jennifer Lynn. Alexa Carten says, I'm about halfway through Conversations with God, the first book, and I love it. Yay! Oh my God. Amazing things are just around the corner for you then. Yeah, I feel like these books, they kind of change people's lives. The people who are ready for them and the people who are open, right? Because it's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink. And I'm not saying you're a horse, but what I am saying is we're always learning stuff, and a lot of the stuff that we learn is stuff that we intuitively already know. But it's not a matter of knowing. It's a matter of implementing, right? And many of us are not ready to implement some of the lessons that we learn until something happens. I don't know. But me, with Conversations with God, it was like a time in my life where I was really ready to start living the life that I wanted to live, you know what I mean? And not struggle anymore, not live in anxiety and all these other things, not be the old Olena, the settly Olena, but like the new Olena that was happy and independent and financially also independent, right? Because before Conversations with God, I think I was super in debt. Like I think I had just been fired from a job. Well, not fired. My contract wasn't renewed from a corporation, which I hated the job anyway. Like I fucking hated it. It was so crushingly boring work. Right. So yeah, it like that book came with a lot of changes and a lot of progress in my life where I'm just extremely grateful for that series. Jennifer Lynn says, when I bought the Conversations with God, but I think I bought 3 of them maybe 10 years ago, I couldn't really hear the information. Now when I read the book, it makes sense. It's amazing. Yeah, exactly. This series of books has been like I knew about it for years. My mother told me to read it like a decade ago, and I'm like, meh, it has the word God in it. I don't believe in God. There was a time. There was a time, and this is so crazy, where I didn't believe in God. Yeah, I was an atheist for a while in my life, and it was so crazy when I started reading Conversations with God because it felt like I was coming home. You know what I mean? And now I'm like a total believer in God, right? The word God, the energy that is God, the you and I that is God. I love it. And I think it's so amazing. And I can't believe how lonely and anxious you feel when you are disconnected from that which you are. And I'm talking about God, right? Like it is such a weird sensation in the body where it feels foreign to be here. You know, it feels like you're off, like you're misplaced, like you're not home. That's how it felt to me until I recognized that, nope, there's a power greater than me. And I love it because I get to fucking co-create with it. And it's like, and it just became this empowering thing. And then I stopped feeling alone, you know, and I stopped feeling anxious and I stopped feeling so stressed about everything. And I just knew I'm supported. I'm co-creating with God. This is amazing, you know, and it's like, the world opened up for me and I stopped being little, Olena, and I started thinking bigger and bigger and bigger and realizing that, you know, every time I thought bigger, it was still small. I had to keep thinking bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what it meant for me personally to find God. KKX051 says, I put a Photoshop picture of me and my favorite singer, Annie Lorак, on my vision board, and now I have a ticket to her concert. Vision boards work. Annie Lorак, is that the Ukrainian singer? Annie Lorак. Yeah, it is. Oh my God, that's so cool. Her real name, Karolina Miroslavivna Kuyak or something. That's so cool. Yeah, well done. Well done. Look at that. Vision boards totally fucking work. I mean, I'm living my vision board. And one of the first thing I drew on my vision board was my husband. And yeah, less than a year later after that particular vision board, he came into my life and I drew him with a bouquet and he brings me bouquets. And I drew him, literally though it was cartoony, he actually looks like that cartoon that I drew. So it's really fucking awesome. Like, I'm literally living my vision board, so I know these things work. Like, I'm just like, okay, I know that the next thing on the vision board is coming true very soon, and I'm like getting excited for it, you know? That's what it means to allow this stuff in. It's when you believe that it's possible and you're excited for it. You know what I mean? But you're also happy in the current moment. Like you're not like waiting for the thing to happen. And yesterday I was talking about the importance of enjoying the journey and not just waiting for the destination. That's what my life philosophy started being when I realized I was supported by God this whole time, you know, and I was like, holy fuck. So I don't have to worry about anything. I could get to just enjoy the present moment and not worry that like that outcome that I want is not going to happen. No, it will happen. It's like already there. I don't have to do anything. Like I don't have to worry. It's happening. So you get to then spend that energy instead of worrying and stressing about that outcome, whether it's the clear skin, once again, whether it's the perfect partner, the perfect job, the fucking shitload of money, the private jets. It's like, no, you get to just enjoy, you know, and that's what it means. I think many of us have trouble feeling good first. Yesterday I was talking with a client about this, and she was feeling overwhelmed. And it's like, yeah, we have trouble feeling good first, without making something outside of us the reason why we feel good, when we're not fully appreciating the fact that we're co-creating with God. When we're not fully accepting the idea that God is actually a thing. You know what I mean? Like, many of us, we feel still alone here, and we feel like the whole responsibility rests on us, and it doesn't. You're God's child, basically. So whatever you want, God's got it for you. Like, whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. The for your high is good, though, not some random shit. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we think we want something when it's something else entirely that we actually want, and God knows what our real desires are. And sometimes when things are not turning out exactly as we expected them to, we lose hope, and we think that, we're alone and we're fucked. And it's like, no, it's turning out even better than you fucking expected. Just let it unfold. And so that's what I've been practicing a little more of, is this idea of surrendering, not having all these fucking expectations, and realizing that whatever I dreamt up for myself, like, it's not even going to compare to what God has dreamt up for me, right? So yeah, anyway, it's just a easier way to live. When it's like, I know that I don't have to do it all by myself because I'm doing it with God. Does that make sense? I hope this makes sense. Rach Hull says, I'm on the second book of Conversations with God, and yes, they are just mind-blowing. Another life changer I'm listening to right now is 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. Oh my God. Yeah, Mel Robbins is awesome. I love that. Okay. So, we have spent quite a bit of time here. So let's meditate now. Jennifer Lynn says, I think sometimes we talk, we need to earn it. Sometimes we think we need to earn it. We need to be enough or good enough to achieve the goal or the desire that we have. Most of the time, Jennifer, it's not just some of the time, it's most of the time. This is where we all kind of, I think it's our parenting that it's like, it's not our parents, it's their parents and their parents and their parents, that passed on this idea of you need to earn it. And you don't have to earn it. Like, you get to be, firstly, you're loved and supported unconditionally by God, which is the only thing that there is. The most powerful energy in the universe got your back, right? And accepts you fully. All parts of you. All the parts of you. The nose hairs, the big pores, everything. Right? Even when you're being an annoying person, God loves you and accepts you and doesn't think you're annoying. Right? Like it's so interesting, all of this stuff. I didn't know where we were gonna go with today's discussion, but hey, we ended up talking more about God, the coolest thing ever. Because honestly, for me, it's like a revelation, God. And the way I see God today is not the way I saw God when I was like 7, right? When I was like, before I went to bed, my grandma would read me the children's Bible, right? Because I grew up in a very, it was Greek Orthodox family, right? So I had to go to church every Sunday, celebrate Easter, Christmas, all these things in the traditional Ukrainian way. And yeah, my grandma fucking read me the Bible before bed. And I loved those stories because they were, they seemed like little fairy tale, whatever the fucks. But the older I got, the more I was like, what the fuck? And it made God and the whole church going thing, it made God sound like he was judging us all the time, that you had to be good enough, that there was a way that you could fuck up and then end up in hell. What a fucking way to live. I mean, this stuff is really strong and powerful. These images, these metaphors, these lessons, you know what I mean? That religion spreads. Like, this stuff is, it can really permeate your thinking, and it could make you feel all this shame and guilt, even though you have nothing to be ashamed or guilty about, right? And that's why it takes almost a long ass time or quite a bit of effort to unbrainwash yourself or unfuck your brain, from all these lies and this like terrible, terrible image of what God is. Because we humans and, religious texts kind of interpreted God as this judgmental fucker in the sky who is just sitting there literally judging you, waiting for you to fuck up. And there's nothing further from the truth. And so it's funny. It's like I told you guys, how the premise matters, right? The initial belief. And from that belief or premise, you go down a respective path. And I always talk about this with respect to skincare. If your premise is that oils are good for your skin, you're going to end up clogging your skin, right? But it's the same with God. If your premise is that God is a judgmental God, then you're always going to be afraid to fuck up, and you're always going to feel like you're not enough, and you should be better and better and better. And oh my God, I fucked up. I need to hide. All the shame. And it's like, what a terrible fucking premise, right? And so, yeah, when the premise is fucked, you can't possibly enjoy your life, right? Like, if those are your beliefs around what it means to be a spiritual person on this planet, in this physical body, then fuck, it's going to be a hard one, right? It's going to be a hard one. Let's see, Jennifer says, when it isn't happening, we feel like we're doing something wrong or not good enough, which is, of course, not true. Yeah, exactly. When our dreams aren't coming true yet, we're like, oh my God, it's because I didn't do the. There's a lovely line in A Course in Miracles that says, you need not do anything, or need not do nothing. I forgot the exact. Basically, you don't need to do anything. You are enough. This is so important. If we just start there, if that's the premise, then everything is available to us and anything is possible for us. And that's why I do these pop talks, is to remind you guys how much is available to you. Everything. Like the scariest, biggest desire that you can imagine, times that by infinity, and that is what is available to you. Okay? By times that, I mean multiply it by infinity, and that is what's available to you, to every single one of us. And we just have to tap into ourselves. Oh, and by the way, the easiest way to tap into ourselves and to be our real selves, is to meditate. That's why we meditate on these pop talks, right? But let me close down this video for a moment and start a new one where we're going to actually meditate. This is really, really important, since we have really, I think, today we really discussed all the spiritual stuff beautifully, but now it's time to actually implement and meditate so that all this stuff can sink in beautifully and we can really connect with our true selves, right, respectively. Which just means we all connect to the same source, because there's only one of us. Yay! We're all connected. Woo, 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 woo. And I think that's also super like a freeing and empowering thing to know that I'm just talking to myself over there, I'm just helping myself. And if you're angry at somebody, I'm just angry at myself. There's only one of us here, It just changes your way of being and way of responding and makes everything so much, easier. Alrighty. Thank you so much for joining me for today's live pop talk. For this part of it, that is, I'm about to start another one, part 2 of this live pop talk, where we actually meditate. So yeah, this was Olena, popthepimple.com. But remember, if you need any help with skin stuff, click the link in my bio, go to popthepimple.com or popthepimple.com/links. And that's where you can access all the things. My routine review service, where you get the ultimate shortcut to clear skin. So fun. And my 2 communities, like my More Than Skin community, where this live pop talk ends up. This particular one today, because it was more about relationships and spirituality. So it's going to go into the More Than Skin membership. But yesterday's pop talk was all about skincare. So that one went into the Cure It With Love coaching community. So the Cure It With Love coaching community is more skincare oriented and skin health oriented. And then obviously the More Than Skin membership is more or like more about self-love and self-development, attracting anything that you want in life, creating anything you want in life, creating the life of your dreams, bigger things, which I think are really, really awesome and actually fucking life-changing, right? Because you deserve it. You deserve it all, everything. Yep, we get to have it all. Just remember that. All of us, we get to have it all. All right? Anyway, I'll see you in a moment in the next Pop Talk, or part 2 of today's Pop Talk. Hi, this is Olena of popthepimple.com and welcome to part 2 of today's live Pop Talk, where in the previous part we were discussing relationships and spirituality and that you're enough, basically. All of these good things. I really enjoyed that part of the Pop Talk. I hope you did. And now is the part of our program where we are going to meditate. And then after the meditation, I got to go have a routine review. So, get into a comfortable position so we can meditate. Remember though, for those of you who are new to the meditation part of our program, remember that you do not need to stop yourself from thinking. That is an impossible task and an impossible expectation to have of yourself that can make meditation feel hard and challenging. Synonyms. But I mean, not fun. You know what I mean? So it's important that you just focus on your breath. Keep bringing your awareness to your breath and not your thoughts, so that your thoughts become background noise, because your thoughts are just meaningless images, but they only, what's the word? What am I trying to say? If you focus on them, then you're giving them energy and then they become more real to you and blah, blah, blah. So you just focus your awareness on your breath. That's it. It's that simple. Meditation is not a complex thing by any means, but with practice, it becomes so much easier and more enjoyable. And you'll find that you'll probably break out less because it lowers inflammation, and it also lowers stress in the body and stuff, which lowers inflammation. And it anti-ages your DNA. I mean, it's just, there's so many fucking benefits to meditation, and it's the freest, easiest thing that we can do for ourselves. So let's do it. We're going to meditate for 15 minutes, and at the end, you're going to hear this sound. That's going to take us out of the meditation. My computer screen is littered with this particular bag that I'm obsessed with, a vintage bag that I'm trying to purchase. And I'm like, you can't decide on the color. So maybe today I'll purchase that bag, and I'm really excited about it because it's like a really iconic bag that's vintage and that doesn't really exist anymore in that original style exactly. Like there's a reissue coming out this year in a month or so, but it's just not as cool as the original. The original is fucking badass. So yeah, sorry, I looked over at my computer and got distracted with this fucking bag that I'm obsessed with. Alrighty. So I assume you're in a comfortable position. Let's do this thing. Let's breathe. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Good job, guys. How was that for you? Necessary. Hina says, hello, you look beautiful. Can you please tell us when did you first start using a sunscreen and proper routine? At what age did you start? Thank you. I started wearing sunscreen around age 15 or 16, but it wasn't the same quality of sunscreen as I use today, obviously. So I think initially when I started, it was only SPF 15 or whatever. And then a few years back, 3 years back, when I was doing the whole stupid ass natural skincare experiment, I wasn't wearing sunscreen. And that is actually when I created the most, I think, sun damaged stuff, enlarged pores, blah, blah, blah. So I really highly recommend you guys wear sunscreen as soon as possible. It doesn't matter when you start, as long as it's today. Okay? Yeah. All right. So Jebek Marie says, necessary and refreshing. Yay! Thank you so much for joining, Jebek Marie. Always good to see you. And hello, Evan from Ireland. Guitars, and more guitars. So that's it for today. I think we've discussed lots of things. We had a long ass pop talk, parts 1 and 2. I'm really happy that we meditated. Now I got to run and do my routine review, write a bunch of routine reviews themselves, and hopefully rest at some point today. So go and have yourself a beautiful day. I hope you can maintain this beautiful vibe that I think we've created here, cultivated here, and go share it with other people, because when you're feeling really, really good for no reason, it's contagious. It's also magnetic. Contagious and magnetic, super fucking attractive. So if you're single out there, go and spread your magnetism all around within reason, with maintaining those high ass standards, obviously. Anyway, have a beautiful day, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on today's live pop talk, and I will see you tomorrow at around 3 p.m. Paris time. So have a beautiful, 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 and sparkly AF day. Bye.